Hey, this is Greg Milby, Kentucky's Heartland at kentuckysheartland.com, sharing the stories and the people and the events that power the Heartland. And we're talking to my buddy Christopher Watts now. And I'm going to say that because we just kind of talked a little bit, but because some people call you Chris, some people call you Christopher. If they're lazy, they call you Chris, right?
Right, yeah. It's all depending on how you feel and energetic at the moment. So, but yeah,
Right, well,
Christopher's good.
Christopher owns Mandatory Fun, which is right here at the entrance of Freeman Lake Park. And a lot of you folks have heard a lot about Christopher over the last couple of years. The Titan games on NBC was your big, I guess, your big push into fame a little bit.
Yeah, that was my 15 minutes for sure. It was an amazing experience. The Rock is an amazing person. But just being part of the whole production part and seeing how people work behind the screen too is just phenomenal. Yeah.
Well, we're excited that you're a part of our community, and that's what I wanted to spend some time and let people get to know you, not just your business, but get to know you, because you've got a very interesting past when we talk about this. So you were not you graduated high school from Hardin County, but you were not born in Hardin County, right? Tell everybody where you came from.
Right. So yeah, the timeline is I was born in Texas. I was raised in Germany for the first 9.5 years, and then I came out to Kentucky. A little bit in Louisville, a little bit in Meade County, and then, yeah, I finally ended up at North Hardin and became a graduate from them. So, go Trojans.
So, did you play football at North?
No, I ran track for one season.
That was it?
Yeah, I did a lot of my soccer in the city and the traveling teams. The last team I played for was the Blazers. So, yeah, I'm just a big soccer guy, but I never played for the schools.
Huh, that's interesting. So, after high school, you decided to join the military.
Right, yeah, so my dad was in the Army. Both my mom and dad's served too. So it was just inevitable that I had to do it too. I had to do my time. So I spent 3 years in the Army, did one deployment that was 15 months, and then came back for just a brief second before I went back over as a civilian and started growing my hair out.
So, and that's where we'll pick this story up, because that's a really interesting part of where we are today with Christopher Watts here being in Kentucky's Heartland. So you started contracting in Afghanistan. So you were just a contractor, and you were working over there. And how long did you spend over in Afghanistan?
3 years. It was the end of 2015 all the way up until the day that I quit. I landed was in January of this year when the show aired. It was my episode came on. So luckily, that was a good transition to end that and then begin this. So
why? And I've always been interested in this because, you know, when you serve in the military, you're deployed, and they're like, hey, you're going to Afghanistan. But as a contractor, you decide you want to go. What made you to decide that that's what you wanted to do for a living, is to spend 3 years in Afghanistan as a contractor?
Good question. So when you're in the Army, you build this camaraderie base, and you become like a family and whatnot. So when I came back, I was missing that whole dragon, and so I thought I saw it, and so I started chasing it. And yeah, I volunteered to go back to Afghanistan, but I was looking for, you know, that specific camaraderie that you had, that brotherhood, but it's totally not the same. And I ended up staying a little bit longer than I expected or that I wanted to. But yeah, that's the whole reason of going back. It's just the camaraderie thing.
I think it's interesting because I would have guessed money, because I'm sure the pay being a contractor in Afghanistan has some nice zeros on the end of it.
True, and that's where a lot of people go, but it's not like that anymore. And if anybody knows me, they know I'm not a money chaser. So that's, I mean, you'll find out once you walk into the gym too, with the prices. But yeah, I've never been into chasing money. I didn't come from money. I appreciate it on some level, but I don't let it own me. So
how did the fitness thing start? You played soccer in high school, and you know you ran track one year, but soccer fitness is different than the fitness that you have now. How did the fitness start? Was it the Army that got you into really working out?
No. So even though I played soccer, I was always like a chunky fit. Even all through high school, I still had like a little belly on me. It was 2009 when I got out of the Army. I actually started hitting it a little harder. I did, you know, the typical mirror muscles when I was in, just because, you know, that's what makes the uniform look good. But no, I came back and I started personal training at Energy, back when that used to be a thing. And so I just hit it. Like I got out. I was just like, new me type thing, trying to figure out where I wanted to do, where I wanted to be. And yeah, you just spend a lot of time in there. And the next thing you know, I actually shedded some pounds and got an ab or two, and then it's just started continuing from there. I got into CrossFit in 2013 as far as like officially being certified, but I started tinkering with it since they started in 2007. I just didn't pick it up and get serious till like 2009.
I like that. When I got an ab or two, that's cute. That should be on a shirt. We may have to make that a shirt. So when you were in Afghanistan, was it hard to work out there? Did you have to modify your workouts, or was the gym that you had available something that you can make work?
So this scene that you look out, that Coca-Cola factory, that was probably as big as the compound that I was on. So we did have an indoor and outdoor gym. We had one cafeteria facility, and then it was all just like billets or rooms that we slept in. But no, so if we weren't working, you're either eating, sleeping, or working out. So it was actually easier to work out over there than it is here, believe it or not, even though I'm in the gym all the time. So once I got over there, everybody else was working out. You're on a compound full of dudes. So then the testosterone level raises, in a sense. And so you're always trying to compete with that next guy, or trying to do better, or whatever. You know what I mean? So you have that extra push. But that's all it is just a compound. That's no way to live. Like, as easy as it was, it's not a way to live. So.
All right. So you leave the military, and then you decide to let your hair grow out. Let's talk about the hair, because the hair is important. I've seen your videos on Facebook and stuff, and I can't do it. I would love to be able to. You have the hair flip, which will wrap up this interview with a hair flip for sure. But why did you decide that you wanted to grow your hair out?
So being in the Army and the hard charger that I used to be, I was in a different mentality state. And you can only imagine what a young kid thinks about, and like especially when they join the service and whatnot during a wartime. But then when I was contracting, I met a friend of mine named Zane. I know nobody knows him, but I met him, and he started talking to me about just common sense and like how to appreciate things, and mankind and human love and all that other stuff. And it's funny that long hair goes with that stuff, like your traditional hippie-ish or whatever word you want to use. But it's not so much of being a hippie, it's just carefree, like you don't have to stay tapered, you don't have to do what somebody else is telling you to. And so that's just what it is. It's just I'm in control of me now, and so the hair just represents that.
You're being rebellious.
Yeah.
All right, so you're in Afghanistan. You're working over there, and the Titan games. I know they don't. The Rock just didn't come over and visit you and say, "Hey, I want you to be on the Titan games." How does somebody go about getting on a national television show for fitness?
So you might have heard me say this once during one of the interviews, is you can't be afraid to step out of your box, out of your norm. And so that's what I did. I was on my compound working out. And like we talked about, you can't be in the gym and not get on Instagram, because it's a rule. You have to get on there, whether you post your selfies or you're checking somebody else's selfies out.
Because it doesn't count if you're not on Instagram?
Right, yeah. So I got on Instagram during one of my sessions, and I saw that The Rock had made a post about it. And I think a couple of sets later, I went up to the room and applied. But what was funny about that is that a week before then, The Rock actually had another TV show that was only for one season. But I was looking for that show. And so the fact that it wasn't happening anymore, and the fact that I got on Instagram at that time was just, I guess, just a sign that, hey, you need to go, fill out that application. Application is a lengthy part. It'll be the part that talks you out of doing it, but just fill out the application if you're interested in the TV show, because it's worth it in the end.
Yeah. So you fill out this application. I'm sure you have to do a video, because they're not going to just let you select you for the show. So did you do anything crazy for the video? Because we're talking about a national television show, a national fitness show with The Rock. I'm sure there were a lot of people that submitted applications and videos. What did you do, if anything, to set your video apart?
Oh, man. So I think what got me was the fact that I filmed it in such an exotic location. But I actually pulled one of the huge Army trucks behind me, and nobody else was in there. And so I think that kind of caught their eye. I mean, plus the story helped a little bit. But I think just that, nobody else probably pulled a truck at that size. And so, yeah, the videos, I don't know, I just shot different aspects of my life on the compound. I even snuck a couple out in the city. We weren't supposed to do that, but hey, do what you do. So yeah, I just tried different things that nobody, if you think of a traditional gym and what it has in it, think of what it does, think of how you can use what it doesn't have. And then your just creativity will start flowing. And I know that may not make sense, but your creativity will flow, and then you'll start using the objects in different ways that, you know, somebody else might not think of. And so they'll be like, what's that? Oh, he can do that, you know.
So it's all about just challenging your muscles. So you did that in the video, and you get a call or an email. What was that? Did you get a call? Did you get an email? And kind of walk us through that moment, because I'm sure that's something that's probably ingrained in your brain the moment that you found that, okay, I'm going to be on national TV with The Rock.
All right, so yeah, so they called me, and obviously there's a big time difference, and they're on California time, and I'm on Afghanistan time. So you do the math or Google it, whatever. I can't remember it anymore. But so they called me at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's like 2 weeks after I submitted the video, and they called and they said, can we schedule a Skype interview? And I said, yeah, sure. So about a couple of days later, we finally got on Skype. And again, I have to wake up super early for this. And everybody else is just like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed with a cup of coffee. And so I did the Skype interview, and luckily the lady that I talked to was just an awesome person to talk to. Like, the vibe was there. You know, and then when you connect with somebody on in a conversation level, you can just take it to every different way, and you actually can see the person, you know, as they are through conversation. And so, you know, if you know me, you know, I'm a good-hearted person, so she saw that. And then I think it was 2 months later, they called me again, of course, 2 o'clock in the morning, and they invited me out to a combine in California. So lucky for me, the combine actually went on, or no, I was working. I had to take a special leave for it. But they paid for the ticket. So they paid for the ticket from Afghanistan all the way to California and back. But through those 2 days of that combine, it was anything you can think of. Agility drills. It was like a little miniature obstacle course. We had to actually find our 1-rep deadlift max. And as soon as you got done with that, you had to drop down to 80% and just lift it for reps. And so there was a couple people where they could just keep lifting at 80%. So they tapered it down to 12. And as long as you got to 12, you were good. Luckily, my fingers were like barely holding onto the bar on 11. So by the grace of God, I was able to force that 12th one. And then as you can see, the rig behind me, there was something kind of set up like that, but the monkey bars were just straight up at an angle. There wasn't 2 points that met at the top. And so they just started a clock for a minute, and you just had to go back and forth for a whole minute. And each bar represented a point. And so many hands got torn.
So it was a point system in a way, them keeping score to find out who got in. When you found out that you made the show, what were you feeling? Were you feeling, okay, I have no chance in the world, or I have all the chance in the world?
So as fast as everything was moving, there was actually a brief period between the combine and when I got the call. And the day that they called, again, was early in the morning. I actually had a mission that our morning time too. So when they called at first, I was like, they said, you made it. And I was like, made it to what? You know, because I was dead asleep. I usually take melatonin when I know I have to do something the next day so I can get a good rest. And so like I was already drowsy, and I was like, made it to what? And then the producer told me it was for the show and stuff, and I was like, I don't know how to explain it, but I got so excited that I actually couldn't go back to sleep, and I was up for like a full 24 hours before I started feeling tired again. Like, luckily it didn't affect my mission or anything, but yeah, they give you the call, and it's just, what do you do with the rest of your day? Especially when you're on a compound. That's like maybe telling a prisoner, hey, guess what? You're about to get released in a week. But you tell them at 2 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, think of their reaction. They're just probably trying to stay awake and sit there all happy, you know, without being able to do something. But
well, and I'm sure it was a challenge too, because I mean, you're still working. You're talking about mission, and you know that's that's a mission. It's a life or death situation. You're in Afghanistan. You're in a war zone, and then you're thinking about this where you're going back to do this show. I think that's a lot of a roller coaster of emotions that you were going through. So when you get to the show, you fly out there, you do the taping, and I encourage people to go to YouTube because you can see his first performance on YouTube there. This guy that you were competing with had won a previous fitness show.
Yes. Okay. So the first guy. So the show. There's 2 competitions in one episode. So the guy he's talking about is the one I had to meet up who won his challenge. His name is Frank. Yeah. There was like some sci-fi channel where it's if your team wins, you get to live in a house. If the team that loses, they have to live out like minimalist, like out in the woods. But they have to do challenges. And so Frank actually won the season through those challenges. And like we were talking about, I found out, I think, the morning of that I knew that we were competing. And so I was sitting there trying to look up the show. I never heard of it. I'm trying to see exactly what he can do. And I was pretty nervous about it. But then something happened. The Donkey Kong rolled those barrels, and I was able to jump over him, and he wasn't. So I got lucky in that sense. But yeah, no, I was actually stressing about that one.
So it was cool that you won that competition, and then that was a landslide victory in that one. But and then people can watch the Titan game and see everything that happened on the show with you. But here's where we get to where Christopher is now. So the show was going to be airing, and you had family in town, but you weren't even going to be in Elizabethtown to watch the show. You were going to go to Texas to watch the show. But all of a sudden, at the very last minute, you changed your mind and stayed here to watch the show. Why did you do that?
Yeah. So, yeah, I had already talked to my grandma, my mother's mom. She's the last grandparent I have, and we had made plans. We were going to sit in the house and watch the episode. But on Facebook, I had gotten an invite, and plus I talked to Cameron Davis, and her and my sister, Misty, they put together this thing at B-Dubs for family and friends to come watch the live taping or the live airing of it. And so I found out how many people were actually going to show up to it by the response through Facebook that I couldn't not come and visit or watch it with them. So as heartening it was to call Grandma and say, hey, I can't make it, I had to come back and watch it with everybody.
Yeah. So you come here and you watch the show, and your plans were to eventually leave the contractor work and do something in Texas. That was what your plans were. That's not what your plans are now. Based on where we're sitting right now, how did that change? Was it the community? What was it that made you change your mind to not move to Texas but to stay here in Hardin County?
Exactly. It's exactly the community. The love and the support that just came out. People that I didn't even know. Like, you can hear it in my voice.
I mean, that's a lot. You take a second there, but that says a lot personally about you. That, as you were talking about, you were searching for the dragon in the military, but to see the support that you have here in the Hardin County area, you go out to B-Dubs and you see that, and then knowing that this is the place for you, and that says a lot about you right now. And I wasn't expecting to have to stall a little bit while you get control in this because that's a lot of passion.
Every time.
Yeah. So you decided. So you wanted to open a gym no matter where you were.
Right. Yeah. I've always had a dream of having a fitness facility just to help people with their journey. And I know that it says CrossFit, and I'm huge into CrossFit, but CrossFit is just another name. It's just like boot camp, some other fitness class, HIIT training. It's just high intensity workouts. It's what the majority of people want. They just don't want to be associated with that name. And even though there's movements that require a barbell, you'll find out that the majority of people that have joined the gym so far don't even use the barbell. And any movement has been modified, or if they don't want to do it, we have substituted for something else, because in the end, it's your journey. Like, I'm not gonna force certain things on you. I just want to be a part of it. And so, yeah.
That's great. So you took yourself, who was a soccer player, and you modified yourself from. I like that. What would you call yourself? You were Chubby Fit? Was that what it was?
Yeah, chubby fit.
Chubby Fit. I like that. I might need to be working off of that. But so you go from Chubby Fit to having a couple of abs to where you're at now, and then onto the Titan Games, and then now owning a gym in a town that you graduated in a county that you graduated in, and giving back to the community. So was this your lifelong goal, is to own a gym at some point?
Yeah, like I said, the gym has always been a dream of mine. It's and you can look at it as like it's easy work because it's just a gym, but no, it's just the mentality that you have to be able to cater to so many different type of personalities, and the stresses and the challenges in life that you don't know who's gonna walk through the door. And so that's what I like. I don't like anything easy. I don't like to just be handed stuff, and so that is what keeps me driven to do what I do, because you just never know. Somebody could walk in with missing their limbs. Somebody can just walk in with a different mental state of mind, or just perfectly fine. And so, like I said, I just want to be part of that journey and to help them get to where they're headed. Yeah.
All right. So if somebody wants to learn more about your gym, they want to come by and see what you got. I mean, we've shown a little bit. I mean, there's another camera angle there of the rack system that's behind you, and there's some rowers over there, which make me break out in hives just looking at them. But if somebody wants to come by and check out what you got, what do they need to do? When are you available?
So the doors open but anywhere between 4 and 4:15. The first class is at 05:30, and I'm here all day, all the way up to like 7, 8 o'clock at night. The end goal is to hopefully have this as a community-driven fitness facility that's open 23 hours a day. But as of right now, it's from like 4 until about 8. Yeah.
So is it a monthly plan? Do you pay by workout? What do you do?
It just depends on the journey you want to take, the path you want to take. Every path has a different price, but everything can be. I'm not gonna like adjust the prices, but I'm just saying it's best if you walk through the door and ask the questions than it is if you ask through social media or go online. Because I don't know why some people have issues with that website, some people don't. But it's best to just walk in and ask any questions, because I can answer to you face to face. And
well, the website, bottom of the screen, we'll put that down there for you. Also, his social media, you can find that information on the screen as well, so you can get a hold of Christopher and find out what he can do to help you with your fitness journey. So where do you see Mandatory Fun Fitness in 5 years?
I see it more as a brand than a fitness facility, because like the majority of people that know I'm trying to do stuff within the community itself. I'm still going to teach some classes, but I don't want to be in here. I just want to provide a place for people. So I see it more as a brand. And so anything community-based, especially with kids, you'll probably see my face or me somewhere around it, yeah.
All right, so he's Christopher Watts. He went from chunky fit years ago to owning a gym now and doing great things in Hardin County. And what a great story in between there of somebody living out dreams and really working hard to make something happen. So, again, all that information, you can find it on the bottom of our screen. Appreciate the time, man.
Thank you.
And look forward to maybe at some point we'll climb a rope or something together.
Yeah, if any of you come in for anything else, you have to try that thing out. Yeah.
Good deal. He's Christopher Watts. I'm Greg Milby, and this is Kentucky's Heartland.